What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to be working with these three images that you see right here, and then you go ahead and click on this link just to make sure that you're in this video. In order to download the images, you will have to select the image itself and then click download image, and then you're going to do that for each one of them. Download image and then download image. Once all the images are downloaded, you're going to head over into, go ahead and close these. You're going to head over into Photoshop and you're going to click open. Instead of new file, you'll click open, and then this window will pop up right here. You're going to go to on your computer. You should be able to scroll down to downloads and you're going to see the images that you need. So we need this one right here and then these two right here as well. In order to be able to select all three of them, you can hold Control and then just click open, and that's going to select all three images right here. So the first thing that we're going to work with is trying to remove this person from the background, right? And we have this little window that's going to help us to adjust exactly that. If you do not see this window, you can always go to Windows and then just make sure that this is checkmarked, contextual taskbar. If you click that, it goes away. If you click that, it comes back, right? Make sure that you have the background layer selected, and then you can go ahead and click remove background. This is a new feature in Photoshop that will allow you to remove the background, but it always determines what the background is, and it might not always be perfect. So there is going to be some adjustments that we need to do. So for example, right now, she's not perfect. I'm going to grab my magnifying tool right here and go in here. There is a hole that happened right there. If I press spacebar on my keyboard, my mouse will turn into a hand, and then I can click and drag to move around. And you can also notice that this is now kind of not perfect, like part of her face is erased. So I'll go ahead and grab the minus selection tool and then just zoom out, and then again spacebar to adjust, and then zoom out a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and go to the plus sign that's down here at the bottom, plus. And then we're going to go to our paint bucket. If you don't see your paint bucket, it might show a gradient tool, and all you have to do is select it, hold it down, and leave the button pressed, and then the paint bucket will show up, and that's how you can select the other ones that are there. Once you have the paint bucket selected, you're going to double click on the white right here, and then switch this over to a color that's kind of bright. In my case, I'll use red. Make sure you have the layer on top selected, red, and then drag it down to the bottom. This will allow you to adjust the layer, so now the red is behind the girl and the girl is above, right? So if you notice right here, the girl has now two little layers that are next to each other. This is going to be the actual image of the girl, and this is what's called a mask or a layer mask. This is the button that creates layer masks, but since we already have one by using the remove background, we're going to go ahead and select it, and we're going to start to edit the mask itself. So if you notice, it's black and white. The black is hiding everything in the picture, and the white is showing everything in the picture. So the girl itself, right? We're going to grab a brush tool, which is this one right here. Make sure you select the regular brush. You have options in the option menu right here where you can select the different styles of brushes. We're going to be using a brush that has a hard edge. We're going to change the hard edge to around 80%, and then about 150 or 100-ish is okay for the size. We're going to go ahead and click outside of it so it goes away. Right now we currently have it set to black. We're going to switch it over to white by using the arrow keys. If you're not on a black and white, you can just click these little buttons right here, the ones right here, and it switches to white and black. And then make sure that you are white on top. We're going to zoom in. You can do Control plus on your keyboard to zoom in, and you're just gonna color this area in right here. My flow is set to 1. You should also double check that your opacity is at 100 and your flow is at 100, and then you can just color that in. Again, spacebar to move around, and we're gonna start inside the face and just kind of color slightly, just like so. If you are accidentally, like, you color too much and you mess up, you can just go back to black and then go in here and then just kind of erase what you don't need, right? We kind of want to leave her face to look like that. Again, control minus to zoom back out. And that's going to give you a perfect selection of the girl. Now, in order to be able to move her to the other images, we're going to need to grab our selection tool right here. Once we have our selection tool selected, we can move her around. Again, you're going to click and hold, do not let go. You're going to bring her up. Again, do not let go until you're inside the picture area, and then now you can let go. You're going to notice that she's actually pretty big and doesn't fit in the frame. So we're going to go ahead and click right here where it says show transform. If you don't already have it checkmarked, make sure that it is checkmarked. And you're going to see these little tools right here that will allow us to resize her. And we're going to put her right around here. That'll be a perfect size. And then press enter on your keyboard, or press done right here, or press the check mark up here. Alright, that's going to put her in place, right? The second thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to duplicate her. So we're going to right click and put duplicate the layer. And then we're going to get this little box right here that says duplicate. We're going to call this shadow and press OK. So we have the shadow right here, and we're going to right click on the shadow, and we're going to head over to our blending options. On our blending options, this is where you can add a bunch of effects. We'll go over these effects eventually, but for right now, the effect that we need is color overlay. Now, there is going to be an issue if you just click on the check mark. Notice if I click on the check mark, I get this weird looking color. But if I click on the actual words, I select the actual option for the color overlay, and you'll notice that my blend mode is set to screen. I need to put that to normal, opacity at 100, and color set to black, and press OK. And press OK. So now we have this black shadow right here. We're going to use this to rotate her. We're going to rotate her this way and put her somewhere right here. Rotate her again, just a little bit, something like that, and then press OK. Now we're going to go to edit, transform, and we're going to distort. This will allow us to kind of tweak it a little bit to make sure that it kind of looks the way we want it to. So we're going to grab this a little bit. And you'll kind of mess around with it until you're happy and satisfied with your result. You kind of want it to look like if she's somewhere in the ground, just like so. That looks pretty good, and I'll press OK. You also want it to go over her boots a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and click and drag and put her underneath. Make sure you still have the shadow selected. We're going to go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur. These are effects that you can use. I have my blur currently set to 13.9, and I feel like that's a pretty good results right there. So you can press OK. And then opacity is what allows us to make it a little bit transparent. We're going to go ahead and drop that down somewhere to like around 44, and that'll give you a nice little shadow right there for her. Now the second thing we're going to do is we're going to replace the sky. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that we select the background layer, because the background layer is what contains the sky right now. So we're going to go ahead and select the background layer, and we're going to go into edit and then sky replacement. Sky replacement is right here, and you're going to get this little option right here. So in this one, you have a lot of options that you can choose from as far as different skies to choose. But we're going to go for a particular sky that we're going to be using. See, like you have some that are really nice. But we did have a picture that we ended up adding, right? So we're going to go to the plus sign, and it's going to open up your Windows menu, and you're going to head down into downloads. And once you're in downloads, you'll see the picture that we downloaded with that epic sky right there, and you're going to click open. Once you click open, you're going to get images like this that are custom skies that you can add. And we're going to use this one right here, and then just press OK. That's going to replace the sky for us. And you'll notice that you get a bunch of layers right here, but it's all in one folder, and you can just click the arrow to close that up. That's going to give you a nice, really good sky. Now we're going to go ahead and click layer 1, which is the girl. We can actually click here twice to rename it. We can put girl, and we're going to create a new layer. It's going to be an empty layer, and we're going to go to our paint bucket tool and switch it to black and just click black. We're going to color the whole thing. It's important that you color it in a new layer so that you don't mess up your layers underneath. Now once you have that, we're going to go to filter, we're going to go to render, and we're going to put lens flares. Under lens flare, you're going to get this option here, and you have a couple of different lenses to choose from, but we're going to go with the one that's 105 prime, and then we're just going to move it so that it lands somewhere in this general corner. You can also make it brighter if you'd like. We'll make it around 137 and press OK. That's going to give us this little results right here. And then under normal, this is a blend mode. You can go ahead and move it, and we'll switch it over to screen. And that'll create this result right here, which makes it look like there's a sun that's like shining on her. And we'll kind of just do this a little bit. We're going to go into a layer mask. It's going to make it all white, which means that it's going to show the entire effect, and that's fine. That's what we want. But we're going to grab our brush, make sure our brush is set to black. We're going to right click, set our hardness to 0. That's going to make soft edges and make it to where it's at around 100 for the result, and switch the flow down to 1%. It's going to look like you're not doing much, but we're just going to kind of color on her a little bit, just like so, to remove some of that lens flare that we have, and it'll give you something that looks like that. And that's going to be the end result of this particular project. This is going to be how it's supposed to look like towards the end. And we're going to go ahead and go to File, Save a Copy. Make sure you head over to your documents. Make sure it's called JPEG, and this will be Lesson 3, Remove Person Background. And then just click Save, and you can go ahead and submit that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.